Think about the skincare routine you use every day. The retinol you spent $80 on. The carefully chosen vitamin C serum. The SPF. What if I told you that none of it matters if the very first thing you put on your face is actively compromising the barrier those expensive products are trying to build? Your cleanser sets the stage for everything that follows. Yet, most of us have never once checked if the pH of that cleanser is actually compatible with the skin it is supposed to be washing. Naturally, the skin on your face sits at a pH of around 5.5. It is slightly acidic. This specific environment is carefully maintained by your biology to keep bad bacteria out, hold moisture in, and keep the barrier intact. So what happens when you use a cleanser with a pH of 9 or 10? It doesn't just clean your face. It has the potential to strip away that natural defense. Suddenly, your $80 active ingredients are trying to work on a disrupted surface instead of a healthy foundation. Today, we are going to look at 3 popular cleansers that might be setting your entire routine back, and 3 options that actually get this crucial first step right. But before we name the brands, we need to talk about why pH matters here more than almost any other step in your routine. Think about a moisturizer or a serum. They sit on your skin for hours. Their pH affects your skin's chemistry over an extended period. A cleanser is completely different. It only contacts your skin for about 30 to 60 seconds before it goes down the drain. You might think that is too short of a time to cause any real damage. But in just those 30 seconds, a high pH formula can raise your skin's surface pH enough to throw off the acid mantle. That invisible, protective film we just talked about for up to 2 hours after you wash it off. 2 hours. And if you wash your face every morning and every night, that disruption becomes cumulative. You end up applying your expensive serums to freshly washed, yet structurally compromised skin. Stay with me until the end of this video, because I am going to show you a simple pH test that costs less than $5 and takes exactly 30 seconds to check any cleanser you already have sitting in your bathroom. To truly understand the domino effect happening on your face, we have to look closely at that natural, slightly acidic environment we just mentioned. That 5.5 pH level isn't just a random number. It is actively maintained by your skin's own biology to perform 3 critical functions simultaneously. First, it inhibits the growth of harmful bacteria while supporting the good bacteria your skin actually needs. Second, it activates the enzymes responsible for cell renewal. And third, it supports the function of your ceramides, those essential lipid molecules that hold your barrier together and prevent moisture from escaping. When you use a traditional, highly alkaline cleanser, which can sit anywhere between a 9 and a 10 on the pH scale, it doesn't just wash away dirt. It completely overwhelms that delicate ecosystem. Once your skin's surface pH is forced above 6.0, all 3 of those critical functions immediately begin to degrade. And this is where that 2-hour recovery window becomes so important. While your skin is frantically working to restore its natural acidity, your barrier is highly permeable. Your bacterial balance is disrupted and your ceramide-binding enzymes are temporarily compromised. So, what happens when you apply your expensive skincare during this exact window? They are absorbing into a surface that is not functioning optimally. If you have ever applied a retinol to a freshly washed face and experienced unexpected irritation, or if your vitamin C serum caused an intense stinging sensation rather than a healthy glow, the serum might not be the problem. The problem might be that the high pH cleanser you just used caused those actives to penetrate far more aggressively than intended into a disrupted barrier. Your cleanser's pH isn't just affecting your wash. It is directly dictating the performance and the tolerability of every single product that follows it. The frustrating part is that the solution has been known in the cosmetic industry for decades. A modern pH-balanced cleanser formulated specifically to match the skin's natural range can effectively remove dirt, oil, and makeup without relying on the aggressive alkalinity of traditional soap. When a brand chooses to formulate at the correct pH and transparently discloses it, they are prioritizing their consumers' long-term skin health. But when they choose the older, cheaper, highly alkaline formulation approach, it naturally makes you wonder, why are we paying premium prices for the privilege of stripping our own barrier twice a day? So let's start with the first cleanser on our list. This one happens to have one of the most powerful and trusted positioning statements in the entire beauty industry. Clinique Liquid Facial Soap. This brand's entire identity is built on the premise of clinical rigor. For decades, their marketing has heavily leaned on phrases like dermatologist developed, allergy tested, and 100% fragrance-free. When you see that kind of messaging, it creates a very strong assumption that these products are formulated with the utmost respect for your skin's natural biology. This specific liquid soap is iconic. It is famously sold in 3 different variations: mild, moderate, and oily, which creates this wonderful impression of highly personalized, science-based skincare. But when we look at the actual chemistry, things start to look quite different. Multiple independent tests over the years have consistently indicated that the pH of these cleansers sits somewhere between 8.5 and 10. As we just discussed, this is significantly above the range that maintains your skin's natural barrier function. Now, the gap between a dermatologist-developed brand and a highly alkaline cleanser is not just a minor detail. Dermatology has known since the 1990s that high pH cleansing can disrupt the skin's acid mantle. So when a brand with this level of dermatological heritage and resources formulates a cleanser with a pH of 9, it leaves us with a very frustrating question. Why use an alkaline formula when the science clearly points the other way? This brings us to the illusion of their 3-step system. If you have sensitive skin, you might intentionally pick up their mild formula, fully believing you're following safe, dermatologist-approved guidance. But here's the catch the marketing rarely explains. In the cosmetic industry, the word mild often refers to how gentle the foaming agents or surfactants are, not necessarily the pH level. So you could be using a mild surfactant. But if the pH is still sitting at a 9, you are potentially stripping your barrier twice a day without even realizing it. It is also worth noting that Clinique is owned by Estée Lauder companies. If you have been following this channel, you might remember that this is the exact same parent company behind the Origins Mega Mushroom Serum and the Daywear SPF we discussed in previous videos. Seeing this recurring theme, where heavy clinical marketing doesn't always seem to align with formulation realities, is especially concerning when it happens in the most foundational step of your entire skincare routine. Now, let's move from a legacy brand to a modern cult favorite. The second cleanser on our list is one of the most consistently praised products in the premium beauty market, the Fresh Soy Face Cleanser. At around $38 for just over 5 ounces, it definitely sits at the upper end of the category. The formula is built around a beautiful botanical story: soy proteins, cucumber, rosewater, and amino acids. It has accumulated years of enthusiastic reviews from magazine editors and consumers alike, with many describing it as the gentlest cleanser they have ever used. But when we look at the chemistry, the story gets a bit complicated. Multiple independent tests over the years have frequently indicated that the pH of this cleanser sits somewhere between 7.5 and 8.5, which, again, is noticeably above the skin-compatible range for maintaining your acid mantle. What makes this product so fascinating is that the high pH here isn't just leftover traditional soap chemistry, like we saw with Clinique. It is actually a direct consequence of using all those botanical ingredients. You see, soy proteins and many plant-derived extracts naturally function best and remain the most stable at near neutral to slightly alkaline pH levels. To take a soy-heavy formula and force it down into that skin-compatible 5.5 acidic range requires significant additional buffering chemistry and complex formulation work. Interestingly, the sensory experience that makes this cleanser so incredibly beloved, that silky texture, the super clean rinse, the way it leaves your skin feeling, might actually be a product of that higher pH level. When a consumer spends $38 on a facial wash, there is a natural assumption that the premium price tag reflects superior formulation science and better overall skin outcomes. But if we are looking purely at pH, balance, which is arguably the single most important characteristic for maintaining barrier health during a wash, this premium cleanser might actually be less optimal for your acid mantle than a standard $10 drugstore alternative like CeraVe's Hydrating Cleanser, which is specifically formulated right around that 5.5 mark. With the Fresh Cleanser, you are undoubtedly paying for a gorgeous sensory experience, a compelling botanical narrative, and the brand's prestige positioning. However, Fresh does not disclose the pH of this product on its packaging or its product pages. In a category where the pH level is essentially the primary performance variable for your barrier, leaving that number out creates a real gap. It is the difference between a consumer making a fully informed decision and a consumer simply trusting that a premium price automatically equals premium barrier care. And that brings us to the third product on our list. This one presents perhaps the most fascinating formulation illusion we have seen yet. Let's look at a product that practically owns the concept of an uncomplicated routine. Philosophy Purity Made Simple One-Step Facial Cleanser. At around $10 to $12 for smaller sizes, And scaling up to $30 at places like Sephora, this product spans both drugstore and prestige retail channels. That gives it an absolutely enormous consumer reach. And the name alone, Purity Made Simple, is incredibly effective. It speaks directly to consumers who just want a clean, one-and-done solution that handles makeup removal and cleansing at the same time. But when we look at the chemistry, multiple independent tests over the years have frequently placed the pH of this formula somewhere between 7.0 and 8.5. The marketing psychology here is doing something very clever. When you choose a product marketed specifically as a simple solution, you are essentially trusting the brand to handle all the complicated technical details so you don't have to. A consumer drawn to simplicity is probably the least likely person to go home, buy pH strips, and research the acid mantle. They simply trust the brand. Yet the most fundamental, simple piece of scientific information about any cleanser, its pH level, is exactly what is left off the bottle. But the most concerning part of this specific formula is how it actually feels on your face. Normally, when you use a highly alkaline cleanser that strips your barrier, your skin feels immediately tight and uncomfortably dry. It acts as an alarm bell. However, this one-step formula is packed with conditioning agents and emollients, designed to leave the skin feeling remarkably soft after washing. These conditioning ingredients might actually be masking that tightness signal. So the high pH could be actively throwing off your acid mantle, but the emollients are essentially tricking your face into feeling like everything is perfectly fine. The product is engineered to feel gentle and comforting, even if the pH environment it creates is not. Philosophy is owned by Coty, a massive beauty conglomerate. Because this cleanser is so accessible and widely purchased across so many different stores, the potential impact of this hidden pH level is staggering. At this scale, we aren't just talking about a niche formulation issue. We are looking at millions of consumers who might be compromising their barrier twice a day, all while believing they're making the simple, safe choice for their skin. So, after looking at the cleansers that might be silently setting your routine back, let's talk about the solutions. These are 3 highly accessible formulas that clean effectively, respect your skin's natural pH, and often cost a fraction of the premium products they replace. First up is a product that dermatologists seem to recommend more consistently than almost anything else on the market, the CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser. At around $12 for a massive 12-ounce bottle, this is the definition of a barrier-first approach. Independent tests generally place its pH right around that optimal 5.5 mark. But what makes it special isn't just the mild surfactants. It actually includes the specific ceramides, ceramides 1, 3, and 6-2, that are often referenced in dermatological barrier repair guidelines. This means the cleanser isn't just trying to avoid damage. It is actively supporting the barrier while you wash. With added hyaluronic acid and niacinamide and a completely transparent ingredient list, you are paying about $1 per ounce for a level of barrier, support that many luxury cleansers simply do not. Prioritize if your skin has already been chronically disrupted by high pH cleansers and you need something even more delicate. There is the La Roche-Posay Toleriane Hydrating Gentle Cleanser, priced around $15 for 13.5 ounces. This represents pharmaceutical-grade production standards applied to a daily wash. Again, we are looking at a skin-compatible pH of around 5.5. The surfactant system here is exceptionally mild, often considered an even gentler alternative for skin that is currently in an active state of recovery. Formulated with the brand's thermal spring water and completely free of fragrance and parabens, it is a consistent favorite for people dealing with rosacea, eczema, or post-procedure sensitivity. It is the perfect choice for anyone whose skin needs active calming alongside pH-compatible cleansing. Finally, if you want to strip away absolutely everything except the bare essentials, we have the Vanicream Gentle Facial Cleanser. At roughly $10 for 8 ounces, this is the most straightforward product on our list today. In a skincare category filled with elaborate marketing stories and proprietary complexes, this product's straightforwardness is its absolute greatest quality. There is no fragrance, no dye, no botanical extracts, just the ingredients required for effective cleansing at a skin-compatible pH of around 6.0. It was developed specifically for highly reactive or allergy-prone skin to eliminate as many potential irritants as humanly possible. At $10, Vanicream removes every single variable from the equation except the one that matters most: a safe, barrier-preserving first step that sets every subsequent serum and cream up to work exactly as intended. So, let's quickly recap what we've uncovered today. We saw how Clinique heavily markets its liquid facial soap with trusted dermatologist credentials, yet relies on a highly alkaline pH that works against the very acid mantle that dermatological research tells us to protect. We looked at Fresh, charging around $38 for a beautiful soy protein botanical story, where the formulation itself might be creating a pH environment that is less than optimal for the barrier you are paying a premium to care for. And we examined Philosophy's Purity Made Simple, a massively popular cleanser that uses conditioning agents to leave your skin feeling soft, potentially masking the physical warning signs that your acid mantle has been thrown off balance. But we also saw that protecting your barrier doesn't have to be expensive. CeraVe gives you an optimal pH and barrier-supporting ceramides for roughly $1 an ounce. La Roche-Posay brings pharmaceutical-grade gentleness to a $15 daily wash. And Vanicream removes every possible variable to give you pure pH-compatible cleansing for around $10. Now, for that promise I made at the beginning of the video. You can easily buy basic pH strips at almost any pharmacy for under $5. Just dip one into your current cleanser. If that color reads above a 6.5, there's a very high chance the first step of your routine is actively working against every expensive serum you apply afterward. The fix is incredibly simple. Switch to a $10 to $15 cleanser that respects your skin's natural chemistry. Remember, any skincare routine built on a compromised foundation will always perform below its potential. You have to start the right way. Make sure to subscribe, because next week we are taking a hard look at the physical exfoliator market. We will explore the controversial history and past legal scrutiny surrounding one of the world's most popular facial scrubs and discuss why the brand might be hoping you have already forgotten about it. I'll see you then.